Welcome to A SkinDepth Convo. I'm Anna Kagarakis. This is a show focused on educating and inspiring all those in the skincare and beauty industry. Now, coming up on today's show, we learn about plant stem cells from Dr. Fred Zülli of Mibelle Group in Switzerland. We'll discuss the benefits of the technology, how plant stem cells work, and how they are helping the skincare industry take a huge step forward in creating more sustainability in the world of beauty. Joining us, as always, are our expert hosts, Metaxia and Francine, part of the founders of Lyra Clinical. Ladies, I know you're both so excited about this topic today.
We are very excited about this topic because Dr. Zülli has been the godfather of plant stem cell technology, and we have been using plant stem cells ever since 2010 when we started putting them in our peels and then expanded into our products. So we have been very excited ever since he accepted that he'd be on this podcast. So we're looking forward to hearing all about plant stem cell technology.
Dr. Zülli actually is such an amazing person. He's working on many different plant stem cells, which for us, it's not just one. And using plant stem cells in our peels and in our products, as Francine said, is an advantage. All of this is offering multiple opportunities for us to do more correction and actually maintain beautiful skin.
Well, science discovering nature's secrets is a main philosophy of Lyra Clinical. You know, you mentioned that you have some products, you've had products for a long time with plant stem cell technology. Which products do you have?
We introduced plant stem cell technology in our peels in 2010. And as we expanded, you're going to find that I would say 40% to 50% of our products have plant stem cell technology. Some of them have 1 to 2, some even have up to 4.
And I can tell you, for me, my favorite is the illuminating beauty oil. It has the Madonna lily in there, what it does to the skin and how it brightens the skin. And it's just a dry oil. It made a difference in my skin, but it made a difference in correcting skin. The skin needs a little bit more of a boost. Francine, which is your favorite?
My favorite product with plant stem cell technology is the Biohydra Infusion. Not only does it have hyaluronic acid and colloidal silver and gold, it has 4 different plant stem cells. It has the apple plant stem cell, the edelweiss, alpine rose, and sea fennel.
Lyra strives on not having just one hero ingredient. The infusion is incredible. I think it's one of our best sellers.
Both of those products that you mentioned are favorites that I use all the time, and I have noticed a huge difference in my skin since using them. And I'm really excited to talk to Dr. Zülli about all the plant stem cells, how it all works. But before we get into that interview, I wanted to share some interesting news that I found in the skincare industry. Now, according to the global market research company, the NPD Group, skincare trends in the United States indicate that consumer attention is shifting more towards clinical skincare brands. Now, clinical skincare means products that are founded by doctors, estheticians, and chemists. Before the pandemic, we saw a rise in the natural brands. But now consumers are showing more interest in clinical brands, which account for 34% of the skincare category sales in the United States. Natural brands, that has actually stalled, accounting for just 28% of skincare sales. So what in your mind brought on that change, in your opinion?
Clinical aesthetics has changed the whole industry right now because people want results. People want to be able to have a product to do multiple things, but technology has given so many advances to ingredients and the delivery. So for me, it's why not go clinical? Why not have the best benefit that you can on a product?
People are much more savvy today because they're able to understand how products work. They're able to see it and get more information on social media so they understand what they're using and seeing results. They wear less makeup because their skin is healthy. It has that natural glow that it needs. So results make a difference, and clinical skincare is able to deliver that type of result.
What's really noticeable with social media that you mentioned, Fran, is that social media is not just talking about a cleanser or a serum. It's talking about ingredients. You all of a sudden see that interest on different ingredients and where they come from, because it's really fun now to learn. People are not just taking a bottle and looking at the bottle, it's a cleanser. They're taking the bottle, turning it around and checking all the ingredients and the sources where they're coming from.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I mean, GCI magazine actually shared that skin minimalism is a TikTok trend that has more than 2 million hashtags on that platform. So, you know, what skin minimalism is it's a trend focusing on fewer products with multi-purpose benefits that have a bigger impact on skin. And really clinical skincare kind of falls into that category because you're not, getting a ton of products, but you're really focusing on using specific products that have more of an impact, right?
Right. And results before and afters. What we really want to show people is you are able to get those results. You don't have to put on a lot of makeup to cover your skin. Once we are able to show those results, you're going to see the difference. And the one thing we have to remember, protecting the skin at the same time. When you are using less makeup, or if you're using makeup that also has SPF protection and environmental protection, your skin is going to benefit.
Well, our tagline, Anna, is be bright, be beautiful. And bright means healthy, bright skin. It's not about covering it up. It's about showing it off.
Well, plant stem cells seems to fall into this whole category of clinical skincare and skin minimalism and helping your skin be bright and be beautiful. And we're going to learn more about plant stem cells right after this word from Lyra Clinical.
This podcast is brought to you by Lyra Clinical and the award-winning Mystique Illuminating Beauty Oil. Mystique Beauty Oil's amazing skin-friendly hydration delivers potent antioxidants and anti-inflammatories with Lyra Clinical's exclusive Mass Tech brightening technology. This luxury oil blend is infused with vitamin C for a clean, dry finish on the skin. Use by itself or add to your favorite hydrator. Beauty oil delivers your glow and go look. Contact your local Lyra retailer for additional information at lyraclinical.com.
Dr. Fred Zülli is the founder and business development director of Mibelle Biochemistry in Switzerland, a business development of Mibelle Group, which develops and produces active ingredients for skincare, personal care, and food supply industry. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know Metaxia and Francine have been really looking forward to having you join us today.
We are very excited, as Anna said. It is so exciting to have you and to be able to talk about plant stem cells and the technology.
And we've been using plant stem cells now for a while, but to actually have the opportunity to speak to you and explain to our audience how advanced they are, how important they are in skincare. Can you explain to us how do plant stems work within their skin?
Yes, so plant stem cells are actually plant cells which are totipotent. That means these cells can differentiate into other cell types like a flower, a fruit, a leaf, whatever. And we have applied this technology to give benefits to the skin. Now, I think a big question comes here up, how can plant material work for humans and for skin? And the concept is here very basic, that we take actually a plant stem cell extract, which contains a lot of nutrients, like epigenetic factors, which support the vitality of human skin stem cells. So that's the concept which we invented 2008, and it was brought to the market now already more than 10 years, yes.
Well, there's always been questions, what is better, an extract or plant stem cells? Those are questions that people have been asking us, so we would love to hear your answer to that.
So plant stem cells, like human stem cells, are actually very delicate cells. So you cannot put them into a cream or in a jar or whatever, they will immediately die. So what we apply actually is a dead extract. So we take the cells, we open them up, we extract the good stuff, and this is then supplied into the cream. So it's no living cell and it's just an extract. This makes it, of course, also very safe, but it's still effective.
What is the process of a plant stem cell?
Yes, so how we can get stem cells, I think this is the first question. And there we can start from a plant material, and we can use different starting materials. You can take a fruit, you can take a leaf, a flower, or a sprout. And then this material is made sterile. That means it has to be washed off from bacteria and fungi. And once you have this plant material sterile, you can cut it with a knife. And therefore you induce a wound healing process. And this wound healing process, the plant will react and will develop a tissue called callus tissue. This is a wound healing tissue of the plant. And this means that normal plant cells, like a fruit cell, will go back to a stem cell because they want to repair the wound. And then we can collect these stem cells from the plant. They are de-differentiated cells. And then we can start to grow them. And this is then the second big challenge. How can we grow these stem cells, these plant stem cells, in large volumes? Because we need kilos or hundreds of kilos to serve the industry. So this was quite a big challenge actually in developing our products, that we have to build up the technology to grow these plant stem cells in large quantities.
Well, what's exciting is the word repair. And this is what we're looking for in skincare, especially when you're doing treatments that can be a little more invasive to the skin. And we do need to repair skin. So do you feel that it works best to repair skin?
Yes, I think the rejuvenation of the skin, of course, is a major target of the cosmetic industry. But the skin can rejuvenate itself, and this actually starts from a stem cell. And I think the easiest example is if you take the epidermis, so that's the upper part of the skin. So this tissue is replaced every 3 weeks. And this replacement starts from the stem cells, so the skin stem cells, the epidermal stem cells. They divide into daughter cells. The daughter cells will be transformed into transient amplifying cells, and out of these transient amplifying cells, the keratinocytes are made, and they replace the epidermis about every 3 weeks. I think everybody knows when he goes on a holiday and he gets tanned and he comes back, this tan lasts for about 3 weeks, because after 3 weeks, the whole epidermis has been renewed. So this is the natural process, and for that, we understand that the most important cells in our skin are actually the stem cells. They never get peeled off. They always stay at the base layer, and through whole our life, these stem cells will reproduce the millions and billions of cells which our skin will develop during our whole life. And therefore, the concept is, if we want to do something good to the skin, I think we have to think about which are the most important cells in our skin. These are not the keratinocytes, these are not the fibroblasts, these are the stem cells. And then the question pops up, okay, how we can treat these stem cells in a special way? What could we apply? Could we apply retinol? Could we apply vitamins? Could we apply minerals? And our answer to this question was, no, we supply an extract of plant stem cells, which help to maintain and vitalize skin stem cells. So that was, let's say, our invention in 2008 when we launched the first plant stem cell extract to the market.
Looking at your research, that the apple stem cell was really primarily for the epidermis. That was one of the best benefits of that particular stem cell with the epidermis.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And then there's some controversy out there because they're saying plant stem cells are beneficial, but embryonic stem cells are very beneficial. So can you enlighten us a bit on the difference between those two stem cells?
Yes, I think there we have to really differentiate about kind of a medical treatment done with human stem cells. So that's to replace tissue. So if you want to regrow maybe a damaged heart, or to replace some cancer blood cells, you can do that with human stem cells. And there you apply living human stem cells. So these have to be alive, but they have to be from the same person. So human stem cells from a different person will not work in your body because they're going to be probably rejected. So there is, of course, a research with embryonic human stem cells, but this is for the rejuvenational medical treatment. And this is a complete different target, a complete different market. And then comes the question, okay, could we also take animal or human stem cells and make an extract and give that extract to the skin? That's also a possibility which is applied in the market. However, this technology has the disadvantage that in many countries, the application of human tissue or human cells is not allowed. And one good reason for that is because human tissue, stem cells, blood, or whatever, is always in danger to contain viruses and other disease factors. So if you start to put, I don't know, tissue, human stem cells from somebody else onto your skin, there might be that the big risk that you got some infections by HIV or I don't know what kind of thing. So that's why it's mainly forbidden in most countries. And therefore, I think the plant stem cells are a nice alternative to achieve cosmetic effects. That means maintaining the vitality of skin stem cells so they can replace the epidermis, but you cannot do regenerative medicine with the plant stem cells because plants and humans for that approach are completely different.
Well, there's so many different plant stem cells we've seen. As Metaxia said, the apple was the first. I have a question. It is the apple itself that you get the plant stem cell from? Is it the apple
Yes.
or part of the tree?
No, that was the apple. So that the fruit is a good starting material to make stem cells because the fruit is outside, is contaminated with fungi and bacteria. But when you cut into the fruit, it's almost sterile inside. And then that's easy to develop the plant stem cells. And the question is why we have chosen this apple. I think first thing is that we have not taken a normal apple. We have taken a very special apple, which has a special breed name. It's the Utwiler Spätlauber. That's another difficult name to pronounce.
Right?
Yes.
This is a very old Swiss apple breed. So it was present in our country 200 years ago. And at that time, Switzerland was a farming country. Everybody was a farmer. And at that time, there was still a lot of snow in Switzerland. So that means during winter time, the whole place was covered with snow and nobody could plant any food there. So that means in autumn, you have to harvest your food from the field and then you have to bring it into your house and then it has to remain fresh and you can eat this food during winter where there was a lot of snow. And this apple tree was known that the storability of the apple fruits was very good. That means you could bring these apples into your house and you could maintain these apples for 4 or 5 months without getting, shivery or getting foul. And this was very important for the population because only with this apple you could have food over winter and vitamin C. And this was the reason why this apple tree was planted all over the place. But then time changed because then we could import apples from New Zealand, bananas from Africa, whatever, and the storability of the apple fruit was no longer an important thing. So then this apple breed was exchanged by apples which look nicer, which are more tasty, which are sweeter, and therefore this tree completely disappeared from the fields. And there's only a few trees left in the whole Switzerland of this special apple tree. So there would not be enough trees to make an apple extract for cosmetics because there are only a few trees left. And therefore we could take this apple from the tree and we could do this process of wound healing, callus tissue, and then we can cultivate now the biomass of apple stem cells without going back to the tree. So we don't need any trees anymore. So we can indefinitely multiply these apple stem cells in our plant, in our laboratory, and we don't have to go back to the field. The idea was, of course, if we have an apple which delays aging, so because it does not get foul or rotten or shivery, this may also have a similar impact on our skin if we can isolate the stem cell of this apple and bring it to the skin. So this was the first approach to the market and it worked. So the apple really delivered some very nice results. And then later on, we have developed plant stem cells from different plants, and they are all a little bit the same because the plant stem cells have a positive effect on skin stem cells, but each plant stem cell is a little bit different. They're all a little bit different, but have one thing common. In general, they help to vitalize or maintain the vitality of skin stem cells. And as you pointed out, there are different skin stem cells. There are epidermal stem cells, dermal stem cells, mesenchymal stem cell, hair bulge stem cells. And sometimes the apple works better than the Edelweiss, or the grape works better than the apple. And so for each product, we can then identify a skin benefit based on maintaining or improving the vitality of a human skin stem cells, and we can somehow differentiate the different products in the market.
Your Gammy, if I'm saying it right, your Gammy grape, you actually mentioned the color of that grape was really important to you. And that was really interesting for us in Lyra, because it's not just an ingredient, it's the quality of the product you're trying to use. There's many grapes, but you use that specific color. That grape comes from an origin that's important, that gives you the maximum benefit of whatever we're trying to produce.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a general approach in cosmetics. If you find some, let's say, plant sources which have a special activity because they can survive in the desert or whatever, you can also be quite sure that they're going to contain specific metabolites which help them to perform in this way. And so if you take this as a starting material to make a stem cell, you can also expect that the stem cell will perform maybe in a good direction.
There's a plant stem cell, I think it's Madonna lily, that's for brightening the skin. How would you say that works for brightening the skin?
Yes, I think our focus in our research is really not to find plant stem cells which do whitening, moisturizing, or tanning. So our focus on our research is always to find, if we take a plant stem cell, to find out where does it perform best to have an efficacy on the skin stem cells. As you said, we found that the apple stem cells stimulates and rejuvenates epidermal stem cells. We found that the grape stem cells can protect the skin stem cells against UV radiation. We found that the goji berry stem cells can activate mesenchymal stem cells to release exosomes, to activate fibroblasts, to make more collagen. So of course, if there's more collagen in your skin, the end result will also be anti-wrinkle and maybe more moisture. But we target more a biochemical effect. And then the moisturizing and anti-wrinkle effect is a kind of a secondary effect, because if the dermis is rejuvenated, of course, that has a positive impact on elasticity of the skin.
I wanted to ask you too, because what I found interesting about the apple was that you were able to still get the plant stem cells without having to use a lot of the crops and everything, which is huge right now for sustainability. When you're thinking about being eco-friendly, and that's something that's really important to Mibelle. Your company was recognized at the Rio 20 Plus Sustainability Conference in 2012 in Brazil as an eco breakthrough. Can you just talk about why it's so important to your company to maintain the sustainability, and then also how plant stem cells kind of just fall into that category?
Yes, I think from the consumer side, there's always an interest in rare, special plants, and to find them then in the cosmetics, in the creams. And then you have to think about, okay, how can we get access to this material? And then let's say you assume you want to have a rare orchid extract in your cream. And then you go to the rainforest and you cut down these orchids and make out an extract, and you put that into the cream. That sounds on the first hand very interesting, but on the second hand, you ask yourself, okay, if a lot of customers will buy this cream and a lot of people have to go to the forest to cut down these orchids, that would not be really sustainable. So that would be a no-go. And with our technology, we only have to go once, take one leaf of that orchid, and then we can for years multiply these cells and still bring this orchid extract into cosmetics. This is one approach. So we can use rare and endangered plant materials, but still in a sustainable way, and bring it to cosmetics. The second thing is, when we cultivate these cells in our bioreactors, we can completely control the medium. That means this biomass is then completely free of herbicides, pesticides, air pollution, whatever, because we can control everything. And it's also independent from season. So if you harvest something, then you may have only one season. You can harvest in summer, and then you have to wait for 1 year to get the next crop in. So we can continuously produce this material, and we don't compete with land for food. And we also use less water to grow this biomass compared to a field culture. So I think there are 3 factors which really count for sustainability by this technology.
Clean beauty is very important right now in the market. We are looking to make sure that products are very clean. We're very careful about chemicals. And we are also looking and making sure to protect the environment. And so this is something that actually we're reading on your website. Even the water supply, we have to be more careful what we're dealing with water. And so the fact that we're able to get the benefits of plant stem cells or getting the benefits of extracts through plant stem cells, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Is actually very good for us because we're able to deliver skincare that nature actually has proven to benefit the skin without hurting the environment.
Yes, I think that's our kind of strategy. We say inspired by nature, realized by science. So we look at nature for these new fantastic concepts, but then we have to apply science to make this nature really sustainable. I mean, as soon as you start to grow something or collect some plant material wild, you start to interfere with nature. And so that can always raise the question, okay, is it really sustainable? With this plant cell culture technology, which we call phytocell-tech, we can really generate biomass in a very sustainable way. And it's safe and it's independent on season, it's independent on weather. You get always the same quality of the product.
Well, we're very excited about that. And all the different plant stem cells, you have multiple plant stem cells. And do you continue to find new plant stem cells?
Yes, we have new projects in our pipeline to come up with additional products to the market. And we also have, or we do a lot of study to see what kind of new applications these plant stem cells could do. And I think especially this exosome technology, which is now popping up in scientific papers, I think is a really exciting technology, which could offer new products to the market based on plant stem cell technology.
Could you elaborate a little on the exosomes?
I know, a little secret.
I know, we're both excited when we heard that. We just,
Yes, exosomes actually are kind of vesicles which are released by stem cells, and they go to other cells and they deliver some factors like interleukins, miRNA, and other things. So you can think about an exosome like a letter. And a letter needs a content and an address. And these exosomes, they have an address on the surface, so they exactly know where they have to deliver this letter. And then when this letter is delivered to a cell, it's opened up and this cell gets the message from the stem cell. And I think this is quite interesting new concept, which of course exists in nature, has not been yet fully understand how it works in our body, but this is really an exciting new, let's say, technology or finding to deliver new activities to probably cosmetics.
It's exciting because the letter that you're sending, the letter is communicating and giving you some kind of information or benefit. So what you're doing is communicating and targeting a specific cell, like you said, and giving it exactly what it needs. Our skincare now is targeting certain things for multiple benefits. So what you said, it's really interesting for me, is that we're just not trying to lighten someone's skin. We're trying to bring the whole circle of healthy skin cells, bringing the energy in the skin cell to give you that healthy glow, the youthful appearance that we're looking for, not just correcting one thing, but establishing a very healthy epidermis or dermis.
Yeah, exactly. So that needs, of course, specific activities. And of course, the whole biochemistry of the skin is quite complicated. There's a lot of cell-to-cell communication, which we have to understand. And that makes it very exciting.
I gotta say, you have such a passion that you can tell just talking about this. You know, what drew you to working in molecular biology and biophysics and chemistry? What drew you to the science?
Well, I was always interested in nature. And then I first did studies in chemistry. And chemistry is, of course, interesting, but it is also not, I think for me, it was missing the nature. And I think if you start to look at nature, and even you start these very simple things, understanding how a cell works, it's getting very interesting. So, and then I think, yeah, it's fantastic to see how you can look at these concepts in nature and then try to make it useful for, let's say, an industry. And for me, the cosmetic industry is very nice because it's fast. You know, if you would work for a pharmaceutical company, you do 20 years of research and you may still not have a product on the market. So in cosmetics, I think it's a fast moving industry. You can do research and you can develop something, and then maybe already 3, 4, 5 years later, you see the products on the shelf and you say, oh, okay, this is based on my apple stems, and that's great.
Mhm.
That is exciting. And we're very appreciative of all the research that you're doing. It benefits the whole world.
The success that we have with Lyra is because of the technology and the respect of the nature and the science together. Our tagline has started from the beginning. Our passion is there, but you have given us the resources to continue this, and the results that we're getting with skincare, I'm not saying just Lyra, but all the skincare companies out there, is amazing because of this technology. So we're excited what the future is going to bring, because I think we just are starting this venture, and there's so much more to do with skincare and cosmetics in this industry. So we're very fortunate that you gave us this opportunity.
So thank you so much, Dr. Fred Zülli. Thank you so much for joining us today. A lot of great information. So we really appreciate having you on A SkinDepth Convo.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A huge thank you to Dr. Zülli for joining us and sharing some fantastic and really interesting information about plant stem cells. Now, talking about plant stem cells obviously makes me think of plants and flowers, which makes me, of course, think of spring. You see the blossoms in the trees, signs that winter has come to an end, and in many parts of the world, spring has sprung. With that in mind, I'd like to ask both of you, how should we prepare our skin for the change of the season?
My favorite treatment for the season is the sal pulp. I love salicylic acid. It's a modality that it gives me access. It refines the epidermis. For me, the sal pulp is my go-to whenever I definitely want to get more access to my skin.
And I absolutely love the green power. And with the green power, it actually opens up different pathways. So you're able to get into the skin just a little bit more. And the nice part about it is our green power has plant stem cell technology. So you're able to deliver more nutrients to the skin.
Wonderful. And you can find out more information about these products at lyraclinical.com. Make sure to ask your esthetician. If you are an esthetician, make sure to ask your representative about it. But again, go to lyraclinical.com, and you can also email your questions for Francine and Metaxia to skindepthconvo@lyraclinical.com. That's skindepthconvo@lyraclinical.com. And don't forget to follow all our social media pages, which will be included in the show notes. You can get involved in the conversation also by going to the Facebook group. And thank you again to both of you, Metaxia and Francine. Another amazing show with a lot of great information. Again, thank you to Dr. Fred Zülli. And of course, thank you to all of you for listening to A SkinDepth Convo. That will do it for us today. Thank you so much for listening.